What's up, Cerebral Football fans? My name is Steven Hyder. This is Gate City Sports Channel. Hey, we are here to extend Carson Wentz a nice little home warming gift here from our defense, particularly our defensive front today. All right, y'all. Y'all know what it is, man. This is the first time that we're going to get to see Carson Wentz playing against the Eagles in a jersey that's not a Philadelphia Eagles jersey. So this is a big game, man. Number one, it's a divisional game. We got an opportunity right here today to go 1-0 inside the division. We got an opportunity to start off our season as being 3-0. So, I mean, look, this is not any normal game here. It's just not. Like, I don't think that this game has the same impact on, like, Jalen Hurts as it does, like, Carson Wentz. I'm not saying that. I think this game means a little bit more to the front office in the decision they made. And I think it obviously has some emotional attachment to the quarterback that's now wearing that Washington football jersey. So, simply put, guys, what I'm going to say is that this is the defensive line's game. This is the defense's game. This is a game for the defense to step up, make the plays, set the tone of this game, and to really just be a complete problem projecting itself forward for everybody else in the league. Because the team speed, offensively and defensively, from what I've seen so far in these two games, is above everyone else that we have played. We have been an absolute problem for teams. Everyone has tried to hit us with everything from all-out blitzes to just trying to play coverage, keeping their eyes on Jalen Hurts and trying to force us to win from the pocket. And so far, we've answered the call every test. We're going to see today, guys. This is going to be a little different feel, I got a feeling. I got a feeling that you're going to see a little bit more of 4- and 5-man pressures play behind some coverage. We'll see how things go. It's going to be an interesting matchup here. My guy, Jazz Fusion, already in the building. Jazz says, defensive line has got to get going today. 100% agree with you, Jazz. Like, this is a game for Fletcher Cox, for Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat, Hassan Reddick, Milton Williams, Javon Hargrave, all these dudes, man. Like, we've got to see a big uptick, man. We need to see this defensive 4 and 5 win without needing the extra blitzers being sent. I'm not saying we remain passive. You get them in 3rd and long, you bring it. We know that Carson Wentz does not necessarily respond well against pressure. I think you bring it in those situations, but it would be nice to get some early down production when they drop back to throw the football. It'd be nice to see Hassan Reddick and Josh Sweat in particular come alive with the pass rush. 100% on that one, Jazz. My guy Jediah said, I'm really looking forward to this game. The Commanders have been talking some trash. It's going to be a good one. Hey, man, I've been watching little clips. I follow E-Rock. I follow my guy LB. Me and Mike. Mike and I have known each other since, like, going all the way back to 2019 when both of us first launched our channels. It's interesting, man. We got a lot of Eagle fans down there in Landover, Maryland right now. I heard the estimate that there could be as many as 20,000 Eagle fans in attendance today. I heard there were several bus loads that took that Philly sports trips. Or there were several bus loads that went down there. People were like showing little clips of everyone kind of commuting from there. I know Mike was on one that was coming out of, I think Mike left out of Allentown. Don't hold me to that. I could be wrong there, but I know Mike is on one of the buses. I want to say he left out of Allentown, but I don't remember exactly where he left out of, to be honest. But this is going to be a crazy atmosphere, man. And to be honest with you, I kind of feel for Washington fans because we know as Eagle fans, hey, man, we would feel a certain way if an opposing team came into our stadium and took it over. Like, you got to do something, bro. You can't let teams like this is not going to be an easy game for Carson, man. This is not a home environment. It's not a home environment for him at all. What's up, Don? How you doing, bro? NFC East Beast, back to the original handle. What's good, man? How you doing, sir? Jazz Fusion says he thinks Del Rio is going to disguise a little bit more than Donatello did. It was kind of shocking that they tried to play their quarters coverage last week, and I guess he was talking to Sal Paolantonio after the game, and Sal asked him straightforward, like, man, what were you doing? What were you thinking? Like, why were you in this particular setup? And I guess that he just said, like, look, man, we have our way of playing defense, and to be quite frank, I don't care what we would have done. I don't care what kind of disguise or wrinkle we would have thrown out of them. We couldn't keep up with their speed. Their team speed was way too much for us to handle on this particular Monday night. Man, there's been a lot of there's been a lot of noise made about the additions we've made and the way it's impacted the roster. This is just a more athletically gifted football team than we had around the season prior, in my opinion. Drew, what's good, buddy? How you doing, man? I'm excited, Drew. I'm waiting to see this. My guy Jazz come up with the free Tui Pelotu. How do you say his name? Tui Pelotu. My bad. Jalen Williams and I have had a kind of a back and forth discussion about Marlon Tui Pelotu going all the way back to when we drafted Tui. And, I was really high on Marlon Tui Pelotu last year. I thought we got an incredible value in the 6th round. I thought that if he didn't have some of those injuries going into the combine and into the draft week, he would have been a much more valued player in that draft. He would have been drafted a heck of a lot earlier than what he ended up going, is what I thought personally. But he wasn't right last year, man. And it looked like Jalen might have got me on that one last year because I was like, I don't know if he's going to make the team this year. But, he had a really good training camp, and he's showing some of the athletic ability that I saw in his film the year prior. When he was coming out of USC, I was like, I know we always got to put an asterisk next to any USC offensive line, but, the dude was cooking centers, man. He had a really good initial pass rush move. He was a really good pass rusher from the nose tackle position, being a nose. And I thought he was going to give us a lot more than we got last year. And we're starting to see some of that athletic ability with him. So, yeah, Jazz, he'd be a guy I'd like to see it kind of getting going here. Like, he's a dude that I think is a lot better than most people might realize. Like, he's had an incredible camp, and he had a pretty good game 1. Hard to really place what he did in game 2, but game 1, he had the pressure that led to the pick 6 to James Bradbury. So, we're seeing a little bit, man. His defensive line, I think, is a little better, Jazz, than people are giving it credit for. I know that you can make an argument that they're not just not getting pressure from the front 4 or the front 5 as much as we would want to see in the early season. But it's like, yeah, we also played 2 quarterbacks that are just not willing to take hits. Those guys aren't going to hang in the pocket until something gets open. They're going to throw the ball away, or they're going to check it down really quickly. When you get to Jared Goff and you get to Kirk Cousins, these are not guys that are willing to get beat up, 10, 15 times a game, take those hits. So I think today's going to be a little different because now I think you got a quarterback in Carson Wentz who will take the punishment for the opportunity for the big play. So I'm hoping, Jazz, personally, I'm hoping to see this defensive line really look a lot different because they're playing a different style of quarterback this game. Jediah said, hell yeah. I saw Mike was there. I think we also need to see Hurts outplay the heck out of Wentz because that latter is not something fans want to see him being a pass quarterback. Yeah, I really think that Jalen Hurts is – I think he's kind of in his element right now. Like, he thrives under these type of circumstances where he's kind of the underdog. He's never really gotten the full credit he probably deserves for the way he held together with a very talented Alabama team. No one's saying that as any individual players is making Alabama what it is, but I think he was a lot better than most people understood, to be quite honest, right? He went to Oklahoma. It was the first time that we heard from Jalen Hurts' his own mouth that he was really developed as a quarterback, right? Spent time working on pocket mechanics when he got to Oklahoma. And then we've seen that acceleration for 3 years. And that was his 3rd year in the league. 1 year underneath Dougie P. Now his 2nd year under Steichen and Sirianni. And, we see those advancements. We're starting to see that, Jalen's starting to really turn into a real ball player. Like he's, I can't remember who said this, but I was listening to someone's podcast and they were talking about, kind of like the crowning achievement of quarterback play is to have a true dual threat quarterback that can burn you. A dual threat quarterback that can burn you in the pocket is the holy grail of football quarterbacks. We got a guy that's in consideration, and that's a big one, right? Nobody's saying it's going to achieve that, but we're saying it's in consideration. We can't deny that. Red Eagle, what's good, my guy? He said, Lion has to take advantage of their O-line weaknesses. Rattle Carson. Yeah, they definitely have some bad luck when it comes to their offensive line, but they also got a lot of former Carolina Panthers on their O-line. I think their left guard and their right guard are former Panthers. Trey Turner at one time was a really good football player, but he's kind of on the tail end of his career. I don't think he's the same guy he once was, if I'm being real about it, Red Eagle. But, yeah, we have advantage. The interior of our line should be able to win. You got a backup center, and you got 2 guys that are just, to be fair, we'll just say they're average, just to be, nice about the situation. This is not as good. You know what I mean? Like, the 2 previous teams we played, we might say that their offensive lines are young, but there was a lot of draft capital spent on the offensive line, right? Like, those 2 organizations put a lot of money and a lot of draft capital into their offensive line. It's a little different feel tonight, right? Like, I definitely feel like we got a shot, man. Jose said, if the D-line can't get to Wentz, then I expect a big shootout today. Yeah, I mean, if you don't put pressure on him, Jose, then yeah, you're going to have to put up a lot of points. Because that receiving core, the one thing I will give Washington is this. This is probably one of the best receiving cores we will play in the entirety of the 2022 season. And I'm not saying that they have any of the individual best players we're going to play. I'm just saying they're three. You know, when they go in that 11-man personnel and they got Jahan Dotson and Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel out there, that's as good as a three receiving cores we're going to see this season. Like they got talent, man. I'm not trying to be like ridiculous about the evaluation. Like Washington's got enough talent to hurt you. Like there's no doubt about it. I just think that offensive line is not ideal for a team that should be a contender. Like, to be honest with you, their defense hasn't lived up to as good as it should be. On paper, Washington has a good defense on paper. But in the reality of football games, it hasn't been very good this season. And although they have a lot of outside skill position players like Jahan Dotson and McLaurin and Samuel that can hurt you, you know what I mean? Like, most of their production came in the second half last week when the game was kind of, they're coming back from like 20 points or so. So, I mean, hard to stack that, right? It gets really difficult to stack just how good a team is when it's playing from behind like that. Because I will admit, when you start building big-time leads in the NFL, it's kind of tricky to hold the lead. That's why I kept saying about the Eagles, like, I really worry about our ability to operate from a 4-minute offense. And guys, don't take this literally of saying like 4-minute windows. I'm just talking about when you have a big lead in a game, no matter when it occurs, and your ability to basically run clock and put points on the board. You got to run clock and put points on the board, right? It's a two-way thing. And I feel like sometimes it was the flow of the offense. Like in Detroit, I felt like we took ourselves out of the flow of the game for a little bit. But last week, it was just foolish penalties. I thought the offense was still moving the ball. I just felt like we had stupid offensive penalties from illegal man downfield to, illegal formations and false starts and stupid stuff like that just keeps knocking you back. And then, like, you're like, crap, like, we were having a successful drive, but this kind of crap's not helping us. Which, from a coaching standpoint, I'm going to be real, guys. If you're a coach and you win a game by more than 10 points, more than 2 scores, you're loving the fact that you can go back into the film room, pull your guys into a room and say, hey, great win. Let's talk for a minute, though, because we got some stuff we got to clean up here. So from the coaching aspects of things, you know what I mean? But, yeah, from a fan perspective, come on, man. We got to fix these penalties. It's not cool. Jazz said that is critical today. My guy Geraldo, what's good, buddy? He said, what up, Gate? Let's go. Drew said, hey, Coach, when is Gannon going to release Reddick? Let the dogs out, please. Are you referring to him dropping him 4 to 6 times a game in coverage? I don't know, Drew, man. It's one of those things where I try to warn, remember, Drew, I was trying to warn everybody that Gannon's system has like a jack linebacker role. So they got a rush linebacker and kind of a jack linebacker role. Now, generally speaking, the guy who's going to be your right defensive end, offensive left, defensive right, that guy's normally more of the rush linebacker type or defensive end. It just depends on what you're playing. Like, if you're in a 4 or 5 man front, he's just a defensive end. But on the opposite side of the field, where Hassan Reddick, generally speaking, plays, there is this jack linebacker, role that they play. And that requires the guy to drop into coverage. I'm not a big fan personally, Drew, of dropping 4 to 6 times a game into coverage. I know you have to do it on occasion, 1 or 2 times a game. But yeah, I mean, it's not why we brought him here. We didn't bring him here to drop him into coverage. Like, I agree with you, Drew. They got to let him loose. Let him play. My guy Vincent said, what's good, Coach? You're the GOAT on YouTube. I appreciate y'all, man. My guy Jose said, that's true on the Holy Grail quarterback. I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, we're all chasing it. Like, every organization wants that guy. It's just, they're hard to find, man. It's not easy to find that particular type of quarterback. What's up, EEZ? He said, what do you think of Jordan Davis? He struggled against a mediocre center last game. I'm a little bit more favorable towards Garrett Bradbury than probably you are, EEZ, but to be fair and to be cards up front, I'm an NC State guy. Garrett Bradbury was one of the better offensive linemen we put through the NFL draft. Obviously, Ike Ekwonu, playing with the Panthers right now is a left tackle, I believe, for them, or a left guard. I don't know if they bounced him inside or are still playing him as a tackle. But obviously, I still think Garrett Bradbury, I wouldn't say that he's one of the worst or a mediocre. You know what I mean? I still think he's decent, but he gives up a lot of size. He's not strong. He's more of an athletic guy. To some extent, I think it has to do somewhat with conditioning, to be honest, easy. The sequence of events, as I recall them being played out from what I charted, was he had 2 opportunities where he went 4 snaps in a row. And each time that he really got beat was on the 4th snap, which would lead me to believe that maybe we got a little bit of conditioning still to go with this young man. And to be fair, a lot of guys in the trenches don't play that much early on in their rookie season. So there's definitely an element here, but that's something that, like we can't predict how it's going to go, right? Like, he's an exceptional talent, but conditioning, I mean, I've had a lot of guys that have chimed in and talked to me that are, they're linemen. They're guys that played the line in college and stuff. And they gave me their opinion on things. And they said that in their opinion, they need to get him down to about 325-ish. That's where he could be truly disruptive as a player. That's a lot. I mean, I've known Jordan Davis because he played out here in Charlotte, and I had a chance to scout him before he got a lot of national media attention, ended up going with Georgia. I had a chance to see him play. And he's always been a bigger kid. He's a big guy. Cass Ghost, what's good, buddy? He said, I would like to see more discipline on the lines. Penalties are a momentum killer for us. Yeah, second half of last week, Cass, it was ridiculous, man. It was absolutely ridiculous last week. Jose said, I do think Commanders' receiving corp is loaded, so I hope our defense can slow them down, but Hurts and our offense have to score over 30, I think. Yeah. My guy Jazz said it's their wide receiver core is the deepest in the conference by far. Yeah, they got guys that can play, man. I don't want to undersell their receiving core. They can play. I know some of y'all are Penn State fans, man. Jazz, I knew some of y'all were going to come at that one, man, because when I talked about Jahan Dotson during the draft class, I told you that I thought he was a pretty good 3-layer receiver, right? I talked about Garrett from Ohio State. I talked about Jahan Dotson. I talked about the other dude from Alabama, not Jameson Williams, but the other one. I said those guys to me were very good 3-layer, basically meaning all 3 levels of the field. They could play pretty well. I thought he fit that mold. He's been a lot better, Jazz, than I thought he was going to be, Jahan Dotson. And I know a lot of you Penn State fans, like, you guys kept telling me, you were like, nah, Kate, I'm telling you, this dude, he's going to be good in the league, man. Trust me, he's going to be really good in the league. They have catchers in numbers. Yeah. They got a deep receiving core. That's true about their O-line, but at the same time, Bengals made it so far with the crappy O-line, so I don't know anything can happen. Yeah, they're struggling this year, though, Jose. Man, that Bengals team does not look good right now. It seems like they should have invested a little bit more in the offensive line because they're going to get Burrow killed out there, man. Jazz said, if their O-line is less crappy today, it will be a long one. Yeah, it'll be a tight game. It can. It can change on a dime. There's no doubt about that, guys. Jediah said, we still have players that played alongside Wentz. I'm hoping they are sharing some tips with our defense to give us that edge. Yeah, it's true, man. My guy Mir, what's up, bro? He said, Gate, what's up, bro? I see you holding it down. Trying to, bro. Trying to, man. 2020, what's good, bro? What's good? How you doing, man? It's going solo. Yeah, I couldn't get a hold of Reese, man. Like, I also woke up late. It was my niece's birthday yesterday. So we went to Carowinds. We were down in Charlotte at Carowinds. So, you come back from those roller coasters and those steam rides, bro. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you guys. I slept in a little later than I normally do. I'm normally like, I'm up before the sunrise normally. I ain't gonna lie to you. When I woke up, the sun was definitely up. NFC East B said over-under on Wentz's interceptions. I'd probably set it at 2. I'd probably set the over-under at 2. I think that's a fair number to where, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to have to think really closely about where you would put your money line on something like that, NFC East Beast. So I'd say put the number at 2. My guy Mir Stein said, I felt like 2 flags they called on us were bad. The one on – oh, yeah, you're talking – yeah, man. I don't know what they wanted Devontae Smith to do on that one, Mir Slime. That one made no sense to me either. Like, it just wasn't an OPI call. You can't help that someone – get surprised that you're in the way, you move out of their way, and they lose their footing. Like, to me, that was a ridiculous call, Miroslav. I'm with you on that one, bro. That was like seriously one of the worst. And you thought the Landon Dickerson one was questionable? Gannon got to leave because I feel like he's too soft and his coaching is holding certain players back, maybe make Gannon a cornerback coach and go get a Super Bowl. We'll see, man. I mean, I still think it's early, Mir. We got to see what he does. It's still very early in the season. Jazz said Davis was awful, no sugarcoating. Nothing but a plug this year for 20 plays a game. I think that they'll tick it up, Jazz, as time goes on. But, yeah, I think in the early half of the season, we're going to see that 18 to 24 snaps range for him. Is where I think it'll happen, right? And then I think when you get out of that bye week, I think we go out of the bye week and we play Pittsburgh. That's when I would expect to see, because now you're talking like late October, beginning of November. That's when I start to think that you see a first-round pick. You got to start picking up the snap count a little bit. Antonio, what's good, buddy? He says, I don't understand how Riddick thing is a conversation. We got to get him to the quarterback. I don't get it. I see Parsons all over the right side, left side, middle, and we see Riddick in coverage. Yeah. You know, the crazy thing is that in camp, Antonio, they were putting him in the A gaps, all kinds of stuff. Like, I would also like to see that being an adjustment they make with Riddick, is to make him a little bit more multiple. And Gannon did get creative last week to where he started to use some wings. So what he did is he brought in Patrick Johnson, and he was bringing in my guy Kaiser White, and he was hanging them as wings. And then he was bouncing Riddick inside. He was bouncing Josh Sweat inside. I would like to see them expand upon that type of creativity. But, I mean, we'll see, Antonio. I've learned when it comes to this particular team, just state what you would like to see, but don't try to project what they'll do, because sometimes it's almost impossible to do it. My guy, Romy One More, what's good, buddy? He said, what up, Gate? I like to see Miles with more carries. Hey, Miles Sanders is having a low-key good season, Romy One. No doubt about it, man. When I made that video and I said, hey, this guy's really a 1,000-yard rusher if he just stays healthy. He's going to hit 1,000 yards just by what he's been producing. I'll be honest with you, Romy One. I mean, I'm getting a lot of credit from people. I don't deserve the credit they're leveling on me, because I was just doing simple math. This guy's been a lot better than what I was telling people. Dave Dust, what's good, Dave? How you doing, man? Gate, what's up? Good, brother. I'm hanging in there, man. If y'all don't know Dave, man, Dave does customizations. He was the one who did our free raffle drawing. You guys remember we did the customized sneakers. It was not this summer, but the summer before we did this. Dave's talented, man. Dave's a good artist. Jose said, what are you talking about? Davis has been a difference maker in the run game. How is he trash? I don't think he's saying he's trash, Jose. I think he's saying that he had a trash game. For real, I think he needs to slim more. I think the ending of the season and next year, you're going to see a big leap on Davis. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to mess with conditioning, Mir. You know how it is, man. Like, you start reconfiguring someone's body type, it is a little difficult, but I do agree with you. I think he's got to slim down. That's a tough one, man. Mir, I've been trying to get somebody on here from the sports science department for the Philadelphia Eagles to talk about these type of conversations. It's just tough, man. It's really tough, because to get members of the coaching staff in the front office on, there's a lot of red tape that's got to get cleared, a lot of hurdles that have to occur. But I still got hope up that we'll get them one day, that we'll get somebody on here to talk about that. Because I think that's a discussion that I think it would open up a lot of insight could be gained from it. I just wish that they would come on and just really spit facts about some of this stuff. Antonio says, yo, I'm an old head. Can I get a wrench? Yeah, let me grab my phone real quick, Antonio. I'll hook you up, man. I just got to log in through my phone. I can't do it on the computer for whatever reason. It won't let you give out wrenches when you're on the computer, but you can do it through your phone. Hang on, guys. You might hear me talking for a second. I got it. Mark, what's good, Mark? How you doing, bro? He said, hey, Gates, looking forward to this game. I hear you, man. Me too. Just a thought. Sometimes you appear to try too hard to be everything to everyone. Bump it and be yourself. The rest of the YouTubers will catch up with you soon. Nah, that's not it at all, man. I try to be careful when I'm trying to critique another team. True Savage said, "What up, Gates? I'd like to see Reddick used better." Yeah, I hear you, True. Me too, man. Me too. I honestly, I would like to see a lot of these guys used a little differently than what they've been, especially from like looking at the first game. Antonio, bro, I got you in here, man. Add as a moderator. You got a wrench, bro. Yeah, they got to. We were talking about that earlier about putting him in the A gaps, mixing up a little bit more, doing a little bit more stuff. Dave said, I was excited when we got Nakobe Dean, but man, TJ Edwards said, no one is outplaying me. Salute to TJ. You know what's crazy, Dave, is that I thought he had an up and down game one. I'm not going to say he played bad in game one because I think people kind of ran with the narrative that wasn't true to the film. I saw one play, and I called him out for it. If you remember, Dave, I did my film breakdown. I called him out for trying to go around the block instead of just blowing it up, stacking and shedding and getting to the play. Man, he was – he popped on film in game two, Dave. I'm not going to lie. TJ was playing with an attitude. Mr. Soy Sauce said, hope to see some heavy pressure this game. I want to see Wentz running for his life. Yeah, me too. I want to see him forced into some bad decisions, to be honest. Scott Miles going to get opportunities today. Hey, Philly Fan D. Philly D, man. I'm so sorry, Philly D. You and Philly Fan D, man. You guys, your names are so similar. I agree, man. I agree that this is a game to where Washington has not stopped the run, to be quite frank about it, right? I mean, they've struggled to do it. And we know that we can get nasty in the running game. We know that with our quarterback in particular and with this running back core that we got, man, if we sense that, could be lights out quick. Jose say, okay, so based off of these past two games, did you see enough improvement on Hurts' passing abilities to feel confident in him being the franchise quarterback? I know it's still a little early. Yeah, I walked away there. What I'll say from last week, Jose, is I walked away thinking like, yeah, man, to me, the discussion's really about what that contract extension is going to look like. Jose, there's good deals and there's bad deals. You know what I mean? It's tough to say, man. The money spent on quarterbacks is becoming – it's crazy high. And I don't care who you are. At this point, you're going to overpay for a quarterback. It's just a matter of, is the quarterback you're going to overpay for enough to compensate for the loss of cap space? That's really the question when it comes down to it, Jose. What's your score prediction, Gate? I'm thinking 38-31 Eagles. I definitely have the Eagles getting into the 30s. I do, Jediah. I got it being like 34-20 Philly. I think that the game will have segments, parts of the game where it'll be a little tight. It'll be closer than we want. But I do think that we're going to pull away. Now, I'm not taking shots at Washington. I'm going to state it again. I still think Washington is the second best team in this division. I do. I know the Giants are 2-0. I think the Giants are vastly improved from a coaching perspective. I still think there's a lot missing from the Giants roster. Jazz said Dickerson was because the timing was off and that caused the line to be downfield. Yeah, RPOs are hard like that, man. Like it is really difficult to time RPOs correctly. It's like if you even have a slight hesitation in a release angle, somebody's going to get penalized. I think Reddick gets his today. I predict 2 sacks. Philly boy Floyd, man, I appreciate you chiming in, man. Hey, man, if he gets 2 sacks, I'm going to be happy, Philly boy Floyd. I would love that kind of outcome. Jazz said Philly D would like to see Boston get some looks out of the backfield today. Might run a while. Hey, it would be a change of pace if you saw the Eagles come out and just absolutely put up 30 rushing attempts on you, right? I'm talking about from the running backs. Put up like high 20s into the 30s. That would be a completely different, attack than what we've seen recently. I think it would throw people off. Bro, I want to see the tight end we drafted. Calcaterra, yeah, man. I think he has that Goddard level of development if he gets playing time. Hey, man, Mir, that dude is a threat in the passing game. He's got to learn how to block at this level. There's no doubt about it. But I saw a few clips from him in camp where I was like, there's something to this dude's ability. He's a threat as a receiving tight end. My guy Dave said he appreciates the shout out. Dave Dust on all platforms. Guys, he does really great customizations. He said, wrench, the last thing I need is more work. I think we should get 5-man front more, going to the 50 front. Transistor Zen, what's good, buddy? He says, always love your content, Steve. Man, I wanted to beat the Vikings badly, but I want to beat the Commanders, Carson, even more. Yeah, Transistor, I really wanted to beat the Vikings just because I felt like the Vikings had got the better of us since we basically put them down in 2017. Once we put them down, basically at the link after they pulled that crap, and then made them watch us win a Super Bowl in their stadium, I thought they got the better of us in the subsequent seasons that followed. So I wanted to really get that win, that streak back on track again with them. And I got tired of Kirk Cousins just owning us. Like, I was like, yo, it's time we flip the script on this dude. We got a new coaching staff. You know, it's just a different feel for the team. Howie deserves a lot of credit because this linebacker core and the players we picked up showed week one, especially that Garner dude. He ain't look like we got him week before the season. He looks good. Yeah, Mir, he does. He deserves a ton of credit. There's no doubt about it. I've even come out and said, like, you know, I criticized his ability to draft receivers, but in terms of his ability to build a Super Bowl roster, I got to give the guy credit, man. He's learned. He's learned when to go for it. He knows that. He knows when to do it, man. No doubt about it. Caitlin, what's good? It says, Scott been looking really well, hitting the hole. Are we okay with Gainwell being our third option this year in the run game? Me personally, yeah, he's got to learn how to pick up blitzes a little more, if I'm being honest. His pass pro is a little sus at times. He can drop balls that he should be catching because he's a decent route runner. He's got some things to work on, but I still think there's something there to work with. And then Caitlin followed it up by saying Epps and CJG, Garner Johnson, and Maddox don't get mentioned enough. Secondary solid. The secondary is solid. I mean, it's you know, all three of these guys that are starting corners, you know, Maddox, Bradbury, Slay, they all got interceptions. I mean, that just speaks to how talented this team is. And then, you know, we heard, like we said, these offensive coordinators and head coaches have been coming out saying, yo, man, this team's defense is a lot faster than it was last year, especially in the secondary. NFCSB said, you joining us for the January 1st game against the Saints? Ooh, I would love to go. I would love to spend New Year's Eve in New Orleans. I don't know about that one, though, man. It's kind of rough because it's around the holiday season, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. 2020 says 75 in here, 51 likes. Hit that like button and join the family. Appreciate you, 2020. Mir said, if the Giants or Washington get Jimmy G, I think you're looking at a crazy division. That's fair, Mir. That's fair. Cass said, are you going to do a live play-by-play today? My voice can't take that, man. I be getting into the games too much, Cass. I be yelling and screaming. I don't got no voice by the time the game's done. Kenneth said, go Birds. I hear you, bro. Go Birds. Fly, Eagles, fly. LAFK, my bad, man. Said, I want to see Trey Sermon behind this O-line gate. He's the guy that I think would fit the 4-minute offense role. I do think that he's inactive today, though, unfortunately. But I definitely think he fits the 4-minute offense role, no doubt about it. Mir said, bro, I said the same thing to LB. I was saying this before the draft, that dude could play a little wide receiver. He has that ability to play wide receiver and tight end, a real red zone threat, but he do need to work on his blocking. Yeah, Calcaterra is definitely athletically gifted. Like, I was just kind of took back because Jalen Hurts spoke really highly of him. And I didn't know that much about Calcaterra in the draft. I really didn't, Mir. I mean, like, I knew he was from when he played in Oklahoma, but I didn't know that he was this level of talent. And then I heard Jalen kind of speak really highly of him. And I was like, I'm going to go check this dude's film. Because that was just kind of off the cuff to me. Like, that was more than just like my former teammate. Yeah, I'm going to try to pick him up. That was like, it's kind of speaking big, you know? On Sin said, I think this is going to be really close just from the emotion of Wentz. Bold prediction, Hurts throws 3 touchdowns. Hey, I like it, man. I like it. Backyard's Bird podcast coming in and said, we beat the Vikes for distracting Rocky. Philly Boy Floyd said, who do we have starting for Dickerson if he doesn't play? Probably Opeta. It'd probably be Sua Opeta is who I would imagine. Philly Boy Floyd is who they'll plug in. I know a lot of the fans, everybody kind of wants to see us use our second-round pick and insert them. But I would probably guess that they'll go with the guy that's been in the system a little longer, just knowing how Stout operates, you know what I mean? "2020 said, I realized this week the more Hurts balls out, the more Wentz is a memory for some of the Wentz hangers on. It's already a memory to me, 2020. What's that song, Dust in the Wind? That's all Carson is dust in the wind. Ryan said, it seems Hurts really studied the tape in the offseason. It was nice watching him go through progressions. Yeah, Ryan, he made comments where people wanted him to talk about like the mechanics, but he kept talking about the mental rep things that he does. And Ryan, I had an interview with a guy who's a former quarterback. He played for Texas Wesleyan, and he's currently, he's working out for the XFL and a few other, semi-pro football leagues. He's had his cup of tea trying to work out with CFL teams as well. When I was talking to Justin Arth, Justin has worked with 3D QB, so he knows their programs. And he said that one of the things that they like to do there is they like to make their quarterbacks go through the game in their head. So like the night before, like the Drew Breeses, the Tom Brady's, those guys that have worked with 3D QB and Tom House in particular, those guys go through these mental reps. I think you see a much sharper, a much more confident Jalen Hurts. I don't know to the extent that's happening because I would love to talk to Jalen, but obviously in season's the wrong time to ask a guy to come on your channel and talk. But yeah, it's definitely an improvement here. Opeta or Driscoll, but he's playing. Dickerson on the field, he's playing. There you go. Bro, I think the best extension how he did was give Maddox, because Maddox at his peak, my bad, and been playing really good, a lot better than he was in the beginning of his career. A low-key, underrated extension. Yeah, Avante, he's a good player, man. He's athletic as crap. He's if you looked at the spark chart and you were just tracking pure athleticism, pound for pound, he's the most athletic dude out there. Jazz said, Niners are going to be a problem now. Yeah, they got good coaching, man. And if they just get a quarterback that won't make the big turnovers and will just stay within the system, they're going to be a problem. I think we all know that. Game Time Bully says, Gate City, what are you going to project Hurts to throw for passing and rushing today? Ooh, that's a tough one. I think he goes above 250 passing, 250 yards passing. I still think that Jalen Hurts is the most effective when you keep him between 28 to 34 throws. And by the way, that's not just Jalen Hurts. Most quarterbacks are the most successful when you keep them between 28 to 34 throws, because that's when your offense is balanced. You get what I mean? So I'm going to say he's going to have between 28 to 34 attempts for over 250 yards. I love that stat line. I'm going to borrow someone set up here, Gate. I'm calling 3 touchdown passes. We need that game. I think we've been right on the cusp of having it to where we had that multiple touchdown game. So I'm going to say 2 touchdowns. All right. I'm not going to steal somebody's 3 touchdown prediction. I'm going to say 2. I think it's a multiple touchdown game. Kenneth Grisham said, Nashville's biggest Eagle fan. Hey, bro, appreciate you, man. Been in Nashville before. It's a great food city, man. Underrated food city. Transistor said, Steve, do you think Covey can give us some short fields today? Need to start from beyond the 15 on the road against a division rival? Transistor, that's a nice transition into the third element of a football game, right? Which is special teams play. Tough to say, man. Circumstance dependent. I think he's good for a good 6 to 10 yards. He's going to get you 6 to 10 yards on punt returns. We'll see, man. I think he's motivated to do better. That's what I like about the young man. I think he's got a lot of motivation. I think he's motivated to really prove people wrong about him. I do think he's got that type of motivation to his game. Guys, I'm going to try to read faster so I can get as much comments in as I can before the game starts, all right? I can't see this as a trap game. Washington only put up 26 Yeah, talking about the Jaguars defense. Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you, 2020. Fly Parks, what's good, buddy? BLSG said, what's good, Gate City? Time to beat the Commanders today. And time for Darius Slay to lock up Terry McLaurin after he put Justin Jefferson in solitary confinement. Love it, bro. Love it, man. Can't wait to see this team today. Hey, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Marius, what's good, buddy? He says, Hurts season. What's good, man? Absolutely. My guy Paul said there should never be a trap game or letdown when playing a divisional opponent. Yeah, you got to know that that's coming, right, Paul? You got to know who your opponents are, your division guys in particular. Ooh, hot take, Takeem. I love this hot take, Takeem. He says, Eagles getting 7 sacks today. Takeem, if we get above 6, you hit me back up or I'm going to buy you a jersey. Not even lying. You hit me up and we get that. We're going to buy you a jersey, bro. BLSG said, I also have my Jordan Davis jersey on for today's game. Fly Park said, Reddick, JG, let him loose. Give Jordan Davis more reps too. NFC East B said, game time, see you. Go Birds, fly, Eagles, fly. Now later in the season when Eagles visit Houston Texans on a Thursday night is a trap game or perhaps when facing the Bears in December. Let's hope we don't get any of those, Paul. Gates, you're always my favorite to see a video from. You got some good wisdom. Catch you later, bro. Got to fly. Hey, I hear y'all. Tell Mike to get a better phone. Ha, ha, ha. I'll let him know, man. I'll let him know. I like Paul. I like how you say Marlon Tutu. Has outplayed Jordan Davis big time so far this season, and it's not even close. Let's get this win. Fly, Eagles, fly. Got to take Quez off of kick returns. My guy Paul said Reddick has 0.5 sacks, half a sack since late last November. It needs to find his game back here today. 100%. 100%, Paul. Good call, man. That's a good stat, man. I want that bully at game time bullies. Hopefully the defense can complete their tackles. A lot of missed tackles game one. Yeah, Cass, you're 100% on that one, man. Kenneth said, yes, sir. Love your channel, brother. How you think it's going to be against Wentz? I think he's going to be out for blood. Oh, he's trying to bring it, bro. He is trying to bring it. There's no doubt about it. He wants this game. Wentz is going to be on something. There's no doubt about it, Kenneth. I think he's going to give this everything he's got. We just got to have this D just shut everything down. Do you like the Eagles and Commanders over? Ooh, that's an excellent question, Ocean Wong. I don't. It's 47, right? I think the last time I saw it, it was like 47. I think they're right on the number. I think that's the problem. I think they hit the number right on the head. That's the main problem I have here because I can't see. If I was betting it, I'd probably bet the over. I probably would take the over on it, but I think they really set that line really tight. Paul said, my biggest concern today defensively is the Eagles linebackers covering Curtis Samuel or running back McKissick out of the backfield on those wheel delayed routes. Yeah, McKissick hasn't been used too much this year, and the dude's a good player, Paul. He's a good receiving back. I think Hurts going to throw for another 300 and rush for 60 with a touchdown. Hopefully Browns and Smith get their touchdown today. Hey, man. Eagles need to isolate and beat up backup center today. Line right up over him and blitz up the A-gap to confuse and take advantage. Yeah, make it confusing to call out protections. Yeah, I agree, Paul. It's a good take. Hey, guys, I got to say something real quick. Let me shout out my guy, Louis T. Louis T did want me to come on his channel and talk, but unfortunately, I got my Twitter set to where, like, if you don't follow me and I don't follow you, it goes into, like, messages I have to approve, so I missed his message until Friday night. But I'm going to try to link back up at Louis T later in the season. And I'm going to try to do a live stream with Louis T, man. Louis T's a guy I value, man. I think he's really good at what he does. I know he likes to get those hot takes in there, but I also know that he likes to be analytical in his observation of the game. And I think he would be an interesting person to have that kind of, discussion with, to talk the analytics, talk the film, kind of talk a little bit about these teams. So I'm going to try to revisit that with Louis T later on. It was my fault, man. I dropped the ball on that one. Eagles offense eats a lot of clock. Yeah, absolutely. Derek Willis said, what if we give Miles 25 to 30 carries today? what would you think he'd do? 100-yard game easily, I think, Derek, if we do that. He's going to have a big-time game if you give him that many opportunities. It's got to hold up, though, man. You know, the thing with Miles is trying to keep him healthy down the stretch. Sorry, guys. Mir Slime said, Gate, when the last time we seen an Eagles quarterback play as good as Hurts, look, Monday. Last time we saw someone that good? You remember that? I'd probably go back to the Vic game. Remember Vic and D-Jax against Washington when they lit them up the first half of that game. That's probably the last time I saw someone that explosive. I mean, of course, Nick Foles in the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl. I mean, obviously that dude was on something those two games. Nick also had like one game back in, I want to say it was like 2012 or 2013, somewhere in that area. I think it was the 2013 season because I think that was the main season he played. He had one game where he really lit it up. McNabb with the broke ankle was a pretty impressive performance, Mir. I think he broke his ankle against Arizona and went out there and threw like 3 touchdown passes, I think, too, one year. When they really going to play Jordan Davis? I don't know, guys. That's above my pay grade. I have no concerns. I think we're going to dominate this game. What's up, Yay, Chad? Appreciate you, bro. Enjoy the game today, Steve, and catch up with you later on. Eagles 32, Washington 23. Hey, if you guys want to give your score predictions, drop your score predictions, and I'll try to read them off real quick, guys. I really hope Dean gets more snaps. What's good, Philly 5,000? Gate, what's good? We need more Davis and less Cox. That is, boy, can you imagine if someone just clipped me saying that? It's odd. Jordan Davis will not see many snaps in any game when facing a passing offense or when the Eagles have 2-score leads where other teams, are passing more often. Got you, man. Classic games. Yeah, they were, man. Like, that McNabb 3 touchdown games on a broke ankle, man. McNabb's a lot of things, but I don't doubt his toughness. Dude was tough, man. Eagles defensive tackle needs more 2-2. Got me all mixed up here. And Milton Williams. Yeah, Milton's he's a good pass rusher, actually. My guy Sam are coming here with the Go Birds. There you go. Caillou, I'm probably saying that wrong, man. I apologize. Said versus the Raiders, Nick Foles 7 touchdown game. Yeah, man. He lit it up, man. Gabe said 41-21 Eagles. Samir said 28-21 Eagles. Nick versus the Raiders was a crazy game. 5 touchdowns. That was Brady like. Casper said 31-21 Eagles. Mujahid said 32-24. Cass said 17-14 in overtime. He sees that tough divisional game. 2020 says 42-17. NFC East B says 38-17 Philly. My guy Geraldo says 31-21 Philly. Petra says 35-28 Philly. You guys are pumped, man. Rico coming in with the let's go Birds. I can't say the other part. 31-17. 28-10. Rico said 28-10. Sorry, I forgot to say everyone's names here. Raise the Bear said 31-17. All right, guys, it's almost game time. I'm about to get set up and get ready for the game. Let's go, Birds. Fly, Eagles, fly. Hey, chance to go 1-0 in the division, 3-0 in just generalized play. 3 conference wins on top of the 1-0 within the division, man. Like, we got a shot, guys. We got a shot. Let me get one more comment in real quick. If you want to protect Hurts, let the running backs do all the running. We'll see, guys. We'll see. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all so much. We'll see you post-game, guys. See everybody post-game. Appreciate y'all.